Guys, we got Nicholas Nick here, LeadMiningPros.com. Nicholas, welcome to the Brent Daniels Real Estate Investing Live Show with Rafael Cortez. How are you?
What's up? What's up, guys? What's up, Rafael?
Yo, what's up, Nick? Good to see you, bro.
Yeah, you too.
7 million calls your company has made.
Bam, minimum.
Right?
Minimum, yeah.
So,
I'd say we do about 60,000 a week right now. So we're climbing.
Awesome.
Nice.
So talk about the way that you have it set up, because people literally buy packages of leads from you. It's almost like PPL, but for outbound calls.
Yeah. No,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's very, what's the word? Pay as you go, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is the PPL feel that it has, no contracts, no commitments. I often compare my product to a gallon of milk. I say, look, when you buy a gallon of milk from Walmart, they don't just start charging your credit card every month and shipping milk to your house, right? If you want more milk, you got to go back and get it. And that's kind of why I wanted to create my business to be exactly like this. You guys come and go as you please. Real estate investing isn't this weekend grind always with calling and texting. Sometimes it's quarterly. Sometimes it's seasonal. So here's some of the package Brent have up here. These are completely turnkey packages, completely done for you. And by that, it means that we can pull the list.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about, because we're talking about list pulling here, right?
Yeah,
Nicholas. And so what lists are you finding you have the best contact rate and the best lead rate from?
Yeah. So nationwide, if I was to give one answer, okay, and I'll give a couple, but if I was to give one answer nationwide, the best list is the absentee list.
Okay.
35% or greater equity is what we found. Some people, they want to get crazy, 80% or greater. We're starting to enter in like a free and clear territory. We're starting to enter higher stuff. And the other thing I like about 35% is data is going to be wrong. The mortgage company is going to report it wrong. They're going to be stored wrong in the cells. So in my opinion, the more we filter our data, the more we're inviting room for error of miscategorization of that data.
Got it. And so you've worked with people that live overseas. You've worked with people that live in the United States. What's the difference there?
Okay, so the foreign callers versus the American.
Yes.
And this is controversial. I actually just let my foreign team go last week.
Got it.
And I'll explain why. Well, I track the data. So I have this amazing cold calling operation. And by that, I don't mean our results, but the way I manage it. So I track all my cold callers, how many hours they work and how many leads they generate per hour. Okay. Very important. I say that my team is like an Olympic team. There's no one on the Olympic team that can't meet qualifications, right?
Right.
So no one on my team is going to be on the team unless they meet our qualifications. So I track that number. So I was looking at that number the other day, and I've been tracking it week to week with this new management training and development system I have in place. And even though I charge half the price for foreign callers that I do for Americans, they were performing at 1/6 to 1/4 of the rate, which means it's actually costing my customers 2 times more to spend half as much on the thing per lead, right? So when I saw that, as any business owner would, imagine you have a product that's hurting your customers that they think is helping them. And I was like, if my Americans can save you money, even while they're more expensive, consistent week over week by tracking this KPI, I'm doing you a disservice by having it on the website. So that literally just happened last week. Now, if you want, we can go into why. It's not just the accent, right? If you want me to go into why.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that.
Yeah. So there's a couple of things, right? So at its basis, what I tell my clients is, look, the foreign person, they're going to read the script. Okay. They're going to read it. They're going to ask the questions, and they're going to sound like they're speaking perfect English, but are they going to know the words that are coming out of their mouth? And I think that's one of the big differences, right? They really don't know the language. Brent, on our podcast the other day, I think we brought up that when someone says yes to you in super clear English, you for some reason think that they really understand what you just said. And foreign employees in general will often be like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that yes,
Right.
sir comes out, and that's their best English phrase out of all English phrases is yes, sir. So we think, well, yeah, they got it, right? And the
Yep.
truth is they don't got it. And it's not a knock. It's because they don't live here. They literally couldn't be further. It's a 23-hour flight to those guys, right? They
Right.
couldn't be. That's a day. They're a day away. So that distance causes it. That's number one. Number two is adaptation, right? Our American callers, they're American. You know, I always joke and I said, yeah, I would let a Filipino work for me that have to come sit in an American bar for 6 months before I let them go on the dialer. And it's because of that banter. It's because of that. When someone pushes back, I'll tell you, when someone throws a jab at you and they can tell the foreign person doesn't know what they just said, or it's like a computational breakdown, they're out right away. I teach my team to play with the leads. You know, if they throw a jab, feel free to throw a soft jab right back, or, you know, feel free to have fun with them. Nothing abrasive, but show them because that's their language. If someone's aggressive with you, you'd be surprised how often they respond to a little bit of that energy. Look at Raphael's. Raphael's like, yeah, we've been there.
Yeah.
Well, critical thinking skills there as well. Understanding the area, understanding, whatever, the restaurants, the movie theaters, the attractions that are going on in that area, in that town, all of those things matter. You know, when I would get on the phone and making the calls myself, I would always bring something up about the area that they live in. Oh, you know, I took my dog to get groomed over there, or the flower shop over there is where, you know, I bought my mom's birthday flowers or whatever else. And then all of a sudden you've got this really good, you kind of melt that force field, and they're not as quick to just reject you or throw you off the phone. And that takes expertise. That takes some real finesse for sure.
Right. And, you know, and I think what we do is, go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
No, I was saying that you level out with them at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. There's, what we don't realize is the rapport loss. So I used to be a restaurant manager, and one of the biggest things I could live by, and everyone please steal this, is deposits and withdrawals, right? By its natural nature, leadership is a withdrawal by its nature. Hey, I need you to do this, withdrawal. Hey, you did it wrong, withdrawal. Hey, withdrawal. It's like we're constantly draining our employees. So when I was a restaurant manager, I can't have a bunch of grumpy ass employees running around. So I had to figure out these really fun ways to communicate with them and make deposits along the way. And I'm going on this tangent because having that American versus the foreign caller is a deposit that even we don't even. They pick up the phone and they go, oh, you can already tell. When someone calls me, I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God they're American. Oh, yeah. You know, you don't even realize it's a deposit. So having the foreign person on there is a bit of a withdrawal, and your industry matters. So like land, for example, no person that owns 5 acres of land is going to talk to a Filipino and think that they're going to buy it. Right. And that's not a knock on anything. It's just it's a rapport loss. And I've got some of the data to back that up too.
Let me ask you this. Two big things. Number one, AI callers. You can call 30,000 numbers in 1 second and do all that. And inevitably that'll be shut down. It's literally robo dialing. But are you seeing that? Are you seeing that being talked about more with the people that you're working with?
No, I really don't. And I think I think it comes with the price, right? AI, and that AI price tag is just going to be going up. So I think it comes with the price. And I think, it is robo dialing. And I did hear in the most recent TCPA Act, they did classify it as robo dialing. So it is officially illegal. Now there's a big difference between illegal and enforcement, right? We all know that, right? It's one thing they throw you in jail for, another thing if they're not searching you ever, okay? Now, I think what's going to happen is we're going to ignore their legislation, then we're going to do it anyways, and then they're just going to crush it, right? Just like texting and everything else. So, and
that was my second question.
Yeah. How long is it going to be around for, And it's funny, I'm not a very scarce person, and that's hard as an entrepreneur. Right. It really is. We got everything riding on this. None of us ever want to go back to work. Okay.
Right.
I'm fighting that 9 to 5 job every day. But you know, when I was literally thinking about my business in bed the other day, especially comparing these KPIs and these statistics. And I was like, I'm so thankful I never let the AI calling scare me, or that I made a huge pivot. What if I made a huge pivot and I was like, all the Americans are fired. I'm going to save a fortune. I'm going to put AI, even like our text messaging is not auto responded. I have a person. That's how I like to do it. I want to put the critical thinking on. I'm a premium service. Yeah. Don't just want to blast it out, you know?
Yeah, guys, listen, if you're going to build a long lasting business that's going to just pay for all of the things that you want, the lifestyle that you want, the assets that you want, the freedom that you want, the control that you want, if you put all your eggs in the basket of something that's going to be short lived, I can't tell you how many people are out of this business that you and I know they did very well 3-4 years ago. You as well, Nick. I'm sure that you know these the same people that went real heavy into I forget what the platform was with text messaging, and they were sending out unbelievable amounts of text and getting all these deals, and they were teaching it for 10 grand a part. And no, it wasn't even launch control. It's called something else. It was what was it? Roar. Yeah, Roar. And now they're out of the business. They're literally out of the business. There was no pivot there. There was just a strike while the iron's hot, go while it's available. And then when regulations come in, or when the carriers catch on to it and you can't do it anymore, they tried to pivot to other things. They didn't have their systems in place. And now they're, selling on solar.
You got to have a backbone marketing, method that's tried and tested, right? That's worked through the ages, that's seen the highs, the lows, and it still works. And then you can bolt on experimental things, I think.
Yep.
Right. If you want to try AI while it's out there, fine, but don't stop the stuff that works. It's been working for the last,
you go on TikTok right now, you will see a sea of people doing the AI calls and then like doing the live lead call follow up and all that. It is bananas. It is absolutely bananas. And the longer you stay in this business, the more you understand that the quick money it really torpedoes really good entrepreneurs because it leads to bad skills. And when you have bad skills or undeveloped skills, that's what crushes people. And that's a lot of entrepreneurs, especially in this market, in this economy, just staying in the game is going to keep you in a nice spot for when everything else goes. And then being profitable on top of that, because you got real business practices. That's what makes people millionaires.
I mean, right now, go back to the Cowboy Closer earlier, right? Like he has that steadiness, that cadence in the business. He understands what he's good at. He's good at locking up the deals, and then he'll cherry pick opportunity when it comes along. But you have to have that meter process. If you go into cold calling or dialing, you edify that and you build it as your cornerstone of the business, and you bolt on stuff that might work at times, and those are spikes, but the consistency is really brought on by the stuff that's worked through the years.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm getting an epiphany right now about a secret department that we don't give enough credit to, and that's R&D, right? Yep. And it's like, we can't just dive all in. We have to respect that this is R&D, right? We're dipping our toe in. We're not going, I had a guy, he hired us. It was land. He got 23 leads for $500. And he called me. He's been doing direct mail for 20 years. He's been a land investor for 20 years. He called me up. He goes, Nick, a lot of leads, but I'm not calling these people. Huh? Like, I haven't called someone for 25 years. Well, I'm going to start calling people now. And a good point of R&D, if he actually this is a true story, I swear to you. Yeah, I'm just going to keep sending mail. I don't care if they're 10 times more expensive. And again, that is totally his decision. But if we knew, hey, you know what? Mail is starting to work less over here. And like you said, the only thing he can do if he refuses to adapt is to stop. Right? That's it. Yep. So I think that's another important part is, even if you have something that's working, don't go to that. That doesn't mean, they say water settles at the lowest point. Don't do that to yourself. Make sure you're always refining that skill. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. The harder leads, the better your systems are. This is one reason I love calling and texting. I tell everyone to get these ugly leads, right? And the reason why I call them ugly is direct mail. They're either FU or yes, right? Cold calling, I say, is everything maybe plus. All
Mhm.
right. Anyone who hesitates. So we ask people, have you ever considered selling? If they go, no. Oh, are you sure? Are you sure? It certainly sounds like you've considered selling before, and so as we get that maybe plus lead. And when you can close maybe plus leads, you can close any lead. And I think people, they go, hey, I only want the one that says 50 cents on the dollar on the first phone call, right? And,
We don't even pay attention to the price.
right.
They tell us a price. We don't care. We're setting an appointment.
Right. Yeah.
We're
100%.
setting an appointment. What dialer do you like?
My favorite for Chris here, number one, I think if you're a solopreneur, okay, if you're doing a party you want, I think the easiest, best interface is Mojo Dialer. That's right. That's where I cut my teeth on. It's very simple. And then if you have a team, I personally use Call Tools, but I'll warn you, it's technical. I mean, I feel like I'm like, I feel like I'm using Photoshop sometimes using Call Tools. But when you get it figured out, but that's meant for agents. I've got like 15 agents, so it's a little different for me. But big team, Call Tools, army of one, maybe 2 to 3, I'd go Mojo just for simplicity.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nick, thank you for being on here, guys. LeadMiningPros.com, LeadMiningPros.com. Check it out. I think it's a great price point if you don't have the time, but you have a little bit of a budget and you don't have that like $2,000 a month that you can spend on pay per lead. This is a nice place to start getting some leads coming